Hello my friends, this is Mr. Max Bliss on the 9th of February 2014 in the southwest of France. As you can see here, we're getting our daily dosage of atmospheric manipulation, which is of course geoengineering, which is denied that it's in action now. They're just copious amounts of reports about what they may do, what the options are. And of course, when we look into the sky and we see on a daily basis chemtrails, and we see these frequency signatures much more often now. The frequency signature thing I started to notice about a year and a half ago, and it's been incrementally increasing. Now we see this on many times a day, which is quite incredible. I don't know if I can get in on that there. Let's put that in there. You can see there's a terrific amount of frequency patterns in all different directions as well. So the idea that this is billows and, you know, it's hot air cutting with warm air and rolling the clouds and all that is absolute poppycock, and it's a propaganda that's pumped out by the UK Met Office, by NASA, by NOAA. All these so-called respectable institutes are pumping out lies and propaganda. They are hiding the truth. These are mature programs, these are computer modelling, this is high frequency and very high frequency and extremely low frequency, all frequency modulations of EMF. You could see in that cloud quite clearly there. That is not a natural phenomenon. The concept that that is billows or street clouds or whatever type of name, the old names and the new names that these institutes, these organisations, these so-called respectable organisations that people bow down to and just would imagine that it would only ever be told the truth by these organisations, are lying through their teeth. They are disreputable, lying bastards, basically. You know, they demand respect. People look to them for honesty and integrity, and in fact, they are lying through their teeth. And as normal, these bizarre goings on in the sky, they don't last long. We're seeing new types of trails this year, which is remarkable in the sense that it helps prove the case that geoengineering is going on, because we're not seeing the same elongated horizon to horizon persistent contrails which we were seeing last year. We're not seeing those now. Well, we are seeing them, but very, very rarely in comparison. But what we are seeing is a hell of a lot of this frequency stuff going on in the sky, right? That's frequency. That is not the wind cutting and rolling clouds, okay? Not at all. Straightforward. There you have it. That is not natural. That is not what we used to see in the southwest of France. We're in a region with the highest number of sunshine hours and clear blue skies. We did not see that. We are getting record amounts of clouds. We're getting the darkest spring on record last year, and I've no doubt judging by the atmospheric manipulation of these artificial clouds with this plasma in the atmosphere that's being pumped with EMF technology, I'm quite certain we'll be on for another darkest spring on record. It's certainly been one of the wettest winters so far. It's outrageous. We are really, really in an age of mass deception when governments pump out propaganda and basically try to brainwash people to the obvious. They are trying to say that this is just a normal, natural phenomena. We see this on a daily basis now, my friends. On a daily basis, sometimes many times a day. It's not natural at all. Those are frequency signatures going crisscross there, criss. See that in different patterns, different shapes. This is not natural. This is not just a natural phenomena. Not at all. Look at this, my friends. Governments try to normalise this. They use agencies like the Metabunk Forum and Contrail Science to try and poo-poo people raising alarm to this. This is outrageous. This is comes around because of the toxins, the metal particulates they are spraying into the atmosphere from these aeroplanes using hygroscopic smoke. These metals, these at nanoparticle level, have electromagnetic semiconductor qualities, so they can be switched on and off, and the barium element of it facilitates the propagation of the radar waves so that they can basically create an atmosphere that's now conductive to these radar waves, so they can send their frequencies wherever they want them. And they have supercomputers that have this modelling situation under control, where they can basically control the atmosphere everywhere around the region where they're doing these programs. And this is what we're witnessing on a daily basis. And look how quickly it's starting to disappear now. When I first started to notice these last year or the year before, they used to take about an hour. Now they're taking about 10 minutes. So this is, you can see the changes in their techniques, their strategies. They're developing their processes so that basically they can get on, create the high pressure, low pressure, or whatever changes it is they desire in the atmosphere for their computer modelling, and then hopefully people won't notice it. And the remarkable thing about the changes in these trails, we're seeing less of the X's and the grids that caught everyone's attention to start with. Now we're seeing dots and dashes and more rapidly dissipating trails, which don't look like contrails, but yet to the uninitiated, you could easily be fooled into believing the propaganda that's pumped out by these disreputable government organisations. There's no question about it. We are witnessing massive atmospheric manipulation, and the manipulation of the public, of course, because this is a mass deception. And the only way we can overcome these mass deceptions and expose this is by researching all the verifiable facts, keeping your eyes open and watching the skies, and recording and sharing what you come across, because there are millions of people uploading and sharing their photographs and videos of these bizarre atmospheric manipulations. And it's getting to the point now where the mainstream media, who are not covering this, and the reason they're not covering that, you know, we can only speculate, but we'd imagine it's because the government have said to them, don't cover this issue. You know, people in authority, like weather presenters in Ireland, a friend of mine, Terry Lawton, just recently phoned him up, and it was very clear cut. He had protocols and rigid lines of denial. There is no doubt about it. There is a strategy in place by the governments and people working for the government agencies to deny what we can see is blatant. It's obviously going on. And look how much this is changing. It's outrageous. It's time to wake up. Our governments lie. One of the few organisations we can verify have a long track history of lying and using propaganda and experimenting on their own populations without consultation or consent. The British government have been spraying chemical weapons on the British public since 1940 to 1979. That was revealed to me by a serving British politician. There are many examples of where they even spray toxins onto trains, onto tubes, or even drive through the city of Bristol with Land Rovers spraying out toxins, metal chemicals, zinc cadmium sulfate, and various other pathogens. They even, in the 1960s, impregnated spiders' webs with E. coli and other pathogens and released them into the air to intentionally contaminate people so that they could find out how diseases spread on spiders' webs, which kind of links up to the chemweb situation that we're seeing, which analysis from the laboratory analysis has confirmed that the chemicals are in the chemwebs are endocrine disruptors, causing great harm to our functioning of our bodies. That's why we're seeing a great increase in illnesses. All this information is open source, and it's time we must look it up. We must look up this information, must verify this information. It's out there, and start realising our governments do not work for us. They have a big agenda. It's called Agenda 21. It's also called Sustainable Development. It's also called the Grand Societal Challenge. They use programs like Horizon 2020 or the Human Brain Project, or EU Enhance Project. These are all projects bringing in the scientific infrastructure necessary for a scientific dictatorship. And this is all open source material. You must research this information for yourselves, my friends. EMF mind control. These are real agendas being pursued for many, many decades. And it's very advanced. So please, it's time to wake up. It's time to participate, because this is the only way we will stop it. Remember, our governments do not work for us. They rely on our apathy. They rely on our silence. Silence is compliance. It's inferred consent. And we do not consent to these lies, this propaganda, this horrendous, massive program that involves many so-called respected institutes of the government, like NASA, NOAA, and the UK Met Office, and many others. We do not consent to this. There's an incredible fallout from the aluminium that's now been found in excessive high amounts in rainfall. That nanoparticulate level, aluminium will cross the blood-brain barrier. That's why you're going to get, already they're announcing it's 1 in 3 people will die of Alzheimer's. Well, if they're announcing that, you can guarantee it'll be higher than that. And what's it going to be in 10 years' time anyway? Look at this. This is not natural. It's time to wake up, my friends. It really is. Our governments are untrustworthy. We have to put pressure on them to expose this, and we have to change the system so a program like this, a clandestine program of this scale, can never, ever happen again without the public consent. Take care, my friends, and bye for now.